Hey guys, today's video is a casual, chatty get ready with me. I wanted to do some sort of Valentine's Day look, although I feel like by the time this video goes live, I'm only filming it like a day or two before Valentine's Day. It's actually going to be Valentine's Day or right afterwards, but there are so many like pretty pink and red shadows that I'm loving lately, so if you want to see more of those looks, let me know. In today's video, I wanted to use my ColourPop bundle, which is available on the ColourPop website until February 18th. I did an announcement video, but I didn't actually use the products. So in today's video, I did use them along with a couple of other new products in my collection. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's jump into it and I'll show you how I got this look. I have been testing the Bite Beauty Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation, but I haven't worn it with the primer, and I actually haven't used the primer at all. I've just been using it with my normal foundation and powder to see how it works. So today I'm going to test it out with the primer. When I initially test out a new foundation, I don't like to introduce a new primer because it's hard to know what's working and what isn't. So I typically use it with my go-to primer, my go-to powder, and the Bite Beauty Foundation has been wearing really well with some of my favorite primers. The tough thing about this new Bite Beauty line is if you want to purchase everything all together, I mean, that's a pretty expensive foundation routine to purchase a new primer, a new foundation, and a new powder. So I'm trying to test them out together and separately to see which products in the line are really worth the money. So I gave the primer a second to kind of set into the skin. It feels nice. I don't think it's anything super special right off the bat. My skin looks fine. It doesn't look super mattified. It also doesn't feel super smooth. It just doesn't really feel like anything special. So we'll see how it works with the foundation. So for the foundation, I have the shade L30, which is dark for me. It's not my perfect shade. I actually tried to purchase the shade L20 and I had it in my Sephora cart. I went to check out and then it sold out while it was in my cart, which really sucked because I do like this formula, but I haven't been able to wear it as much as I've wanted to because it is a little bit dark. It's a little bit of a thicker texture. I wouldn't call it like a moussey whip texture, but it's definitely not a true like runny liquid foundation. So I actually just like to apply it with my finger and then kind of stipple it in place with my brush. The coverage is actually better than I thought it was going to be initially based on some of the reviews that I saw and just some of the descriptions of the product. I thought it was going to be like a light to medium coverage foundation, but I would say it's more of like a medium to full coverage foundation. I don't notice that it is applying any differently with this primer underneath. So again, we'll see how it kind of wears throughout the day, but I'm not convinced the primer is what's special in this line. I think the foundation and the powder are really nice. They work well together, and I will use the powder today as well. So that is what the foundation looks like on its own. I think it looks really nice on the skin. It definitely gives you more of like a satin finish. So I think if you have dry skin that you would enjoy this as well. It does hold up pretty well on my oily skin, but it is winter time. So I have a feeling once summer rolls around, it might not be the most ideal option, but I am enjoying it right now. So I'm just going to apply some concealer and blend that out. I'm filming this video on Wednesday. I meant to film it a little bit earlier because I wanted to do some sort of like Valentine's Day look. I feel like so many brands are releasing Valentine's Day collections this year, so I'm all for it because I love pink and purple eyeshadow, so I think it's really fun. But I don't think we've seen so many Valentine's Day specific releases in the past. But I actually did end up ordering the new Natasha Denona Love Palette. I went back and forth on it, and honestly, if I had ordered it sooner, I probably could have done a review for you guys. I probably still will end up reviewing it on my channel, even though I'm a little bit late to the game. I was trying to decide between the Love Palette and the Melt Cosmetics Millennial Pink Palette, and I could not decide. I actually asked you guys in my purchase or pass video which one you think I should get, and I got a lot of comments for both of them. I don't think the Melt Cosmetics Millennial Pink Palette is actually available on the Sephora website until Valentine's Day, but I was getting ready to place an order because, first of all, I wanted to purchase the Bite Beauty Foundation in my ideal shade, and of course it sold out, and then Rakuten was actually offering 8% cash back at Sephora. So I try to take advantage when I'm planning on buying something. I actually only ended up buying the palette because the foundation was sold out, and then I was going to purchase the IGK, what is it called? Oh, Thirsty Girl Leave-In Conditioner, but I realized that brand is actually sold at Ulta, so I'm just going to wait for a 20% off coupon. So anyways, I did go with the Love Palette. I just feel like when it comes down to it, it has a little bit more variety. The prices were pretty similar, but you get a lot more options in the Love palette than you do in the Millennial Pink palette. I also liked the fact that it had some purples in it. So I am looking forward to getting it. I've been wanting to try another Natasha Denona palette for a while. If I still want the Millennial Pink palette in March, then I'll end up grabbing it. But I did watch a couple of reviews and it was getting some poor reviews and some mixed reviews. I think the Love palette might have some mixed reviews as well, but overall it was looking more positive than the Millennial Pink palette. So anyways, I'll let you guys know how it works for me. I think I'll probably do a video testing it out on camera. I'm just going to set everything into place with the Urban Decay Velvetizer. I've been getting a lot of comments on YouTube telling me that you guys are finding this product at TJ Maxx for a super discounted price, which probably means that it is being discontinued, which is very, very unfortunate because this is the only product that I use to set my concealer into place. If this gets discontinued, I don't know what I'll do. I think I need to go and like purchase a backup. I really try not to purchase too many backup products these days, but I don't use any other powder to set my under eye concealer. So if you guys have any other alternatives for me, please let me know. In the meantime, I think I'm going to have to take a trip to my local TJ Maxx and see if I can find it. I am going to use the Bite Beauty Changemaker Flexible Coverage Pressed Powder in the shade Light 1. And let me just show you guys what it looks like. It is pretty light. I think normally I would use Light 2, but because my foundation is a little bit dark, I feel like this will kind of brighten things up a little bit. So I'm just going to stipple it on with a brush. So for the eyeshadow look, I am going to be using the 2 eyeshadow palettes in my ColourPop bundle. I do have the Going Coconuts palette and then also It's My Pleasure. It was so difficult to choose which products to include in my ColourPop bundle. So I chose 5 products. We were allowed to pick 5, and I honestly did not know what direction to go in. I'm just going to take the shade Shredded and place that all over my lid just to set everything into place and kick things off with a matte base. So I thought about going in like a completely colorful direction because I do love colorful products. I think ColourPop makes some great, vibrant, colorful shades. But I also wanted this to appeal to people who don't wear color. So then I thought about going in a completely neutral direction. I was going to focus on the Going Coconuts palette because it is one of my favorites, and then maybe include some of my other essentials like their cream gel liner in the shade Honey Dude. But it's hard to choose neutrals that are going to work for all skin tones, and I really wanted my ColourPop bundle to work well for all of my subscribers, not just subscribers who have a skin tone similar to me. So my neutral bundle might include like a certain lipstick, a certain blush, but then that might not work for somebody who has a deeper skin tone. So it was so difficult. In the end, I did decide on 2 different eyeshadow palettes because I think you can get so many looks with these 2 palettes. You can use them alone, you can use them together. If you're somebody who wears neutrals every single day, the Going Coconuts palette is going to be such a great option because it just comes with 9 staple colors. I love this palette because it's not overly warm toned, it's not overly cool toned. It really just falls right in the middle. I'm going to take the shade Culotta and use that as a transition color. But this is really just such a staple palette for me. I use it all the time, and I do love colorful eyeshadow, but sometimes I just want to be able to get a quick and easy neutral look, something that's not too intense or vibrant. So I thought these shades would appeal to a lot of people. The nice part is that it also goes so well next to colorful palettes. I know the ColourPop 9-pan monochromatic palettes are popular, but sometimes with the colorful palettes, they can be a little bit intimidating if you're somebody who is kind of new to color. So I wanted to include this one alongside of the It's My Pleasure palette because you could use them together or separately. So I'm going to use them together just so you can see what they look like today. Now, if you want to keep things really neutral, you can obviously build this look up or stop there and just go in with one of the metallic shadows, but I wanted to do more of either a pink tone look or a purple look, so I am going to go into the It's My Pleasure palette. I think I'll go for more of a pink look today, so I'm going to go with the shade Pretty Cruel and use that in the crease just to add a little bit of depth. I chose the It's My Pleasure palette because this is my favorite ColourPop palette of all time. I realized that a lot of you guys might have this palette at this point, but originally when we were creating the bundles, we were including our favorite products, and I just felt like it wouldn't be my bundle if I did not include this palette. I just think that this palette makes colorful eyeshadow so much fun. And I know that color can be really intimidating for a lot of people, but when it comes to this palette, you can do something really light and natural. Like you can take this color and blend it into the crease and then take one of the shades and place them all over the lid. And it adds a fun pop of color without being too much. Or you can do something really vibrant like I'm going to do today. But I think I told you guys in my announcement video, sometimes when it comes to makeup, I'm just stressed out and I'm in a hurry and I'm like throwing things on my face and I just want to get it done. And it feels like another thing on my to-do list. And obviously that's going to happen sometimes because life is busy, we're all busy. We don't always have time to like sit down and play with makeup for hours every single morning. But when I use this palette, I have fun. I love pulling it out for a date night or if I'm feeling like a little bit more creative, just because it's fun to play with. Everything always turns out really well. You can get so many different looks out of this one 9-pan palette. It's crazy. What I like about this palette is that it does have pinks and purples and duochromes. So with 9 different shadows, you can honestly achieve so many different looks. I feel like every time I use this palette, my look is just a little bit different. And then if you pull in a neutral palette like the Going Coconuts palette, it can tone everything down. So I just love both of these palettes separately. I love them together. And I just thought they would make like the perfect complementary palettes, which is why I did choose to include both of them. But it was tough. I did not know what to do. I'm going to take the shade Fan Fiction, which is this brighter pink here, and just start to work that into the crease to brighten things up a little bit because we are going full on pink today. So you guys doing anything for Valentine's Day this weekend? I feel like Valentine's Day is one of those holidays that you either love or you hate. And I feel like most people aren't really into it. They don't usually do anything too crazy. I'm torn on Valentine's Day because I feel like there is so much pressure surrounding Valentine's Day, whether you are single or dating or married or just in a committed relationship. So some years, like, we celebrate, sometimes we just sit at home and eat pizza. When we first started dating, we were 18 and my husband actually, not my husband at the time, but Brady asked me to be his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, which I thought was so cute. And then we did get engaged 2 years later. So I feel like I have a soft spot for Valentine's Day just because it reminds me of when we were young and like super in love. Not that I don't now. I mean, honestly, I love him so much more now than I did when we were younger. But I feel like when you're younger or you're like in a new relationship, I feel like every holiday, every milestone is so big. And these days we're like so content hanging out on the couch, eating pizza, watching Netflix. But it is fun to celebrate sometimes. So this weekend we are going to New York City and I'm really excited. We love New York City so much, but we're actually going to Hamilton and I cannot wait. We actually saw Hamilton for the first time at like the end of the summer. My cousin had tickets and she couldn't go and she was so kind and she actually gave them to Brady and I. So we did see it. And at that point, I knew about Hamilton because I think that we started getting into, my eyelash extensions are all over the place today. So anyways, we started getting into Broadway just a few years ago, honestly. So Hamilton was something we wanted to see, but I didn't actually know that much about it. I just knew that it was so hyped up and everybody loved it. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't really know about it. So when she gave us the tickets, like, we hadn't listened to any of the songs and we were like completely new to it, and it was so cool to see it like that because I feel like we didn't know what to expect next. Like, sometimes when I go to see a show, I like to know what's going to happen, or if it's like a storyline that I know, it's still fun to watch it. But if you're like brand new to it, I feel like it makes it more exciting. So anyway, since we saw it months ago, we have been listening to the soundtrack nonstop. We kept saying that we were going to go see it again, so we were like, let's just go for Valentine's Day. I'm going to take the shade Sleeper, which is the deepest shade in the palette, and just kind of build this up in the outer corner. This eye look's going to get messier before it gets better, but it will all come together in the end. I just want to darken up that outer corner. So anyways, I think we're even more excited to see it now just because we have been obsessing over it for like the past 6 months. So it's going to be so good and I cannot wait. So I don't know exactly what else we're planning on doing. We made like a couple of little plans, like we're going to eat at some restaurants, do a little bit of shopping. I was thinking about going, I'm just going to blend it out with this brush, to the Bite Beauty Lip Lab while I was there. I got the Bite Beauty lipstick, like a Muse Bouche set for the holidays that they released. And I know they're kind of in the process of redoing all of their lipsticks. I don't know if that formula is like their new vegan formula because they are going completely vegan. It was pretty similar to their old formula, but I felt like it was even more moisturizing. So I don't know exactly what formula they use at the lip lab, but I thought about going because I just want to make like my ideal nude in that formula. I mean, Brady would totally sit there with me and do it. I mean, he always listens to me talk about makeup, but I thought maybe it would be more fun to go with like my sisters. My youngest sister is getting married this summer, so maybe for like a girls' weekend, we can go and do something like that and a couple of other things. But yeah, my sister is in like full-on wedding planning mode. Her wedding is less than 6 months away. She's getting married at the end of July, and it's going to be so beautiful. She has the prettiest venue. It's like this outdoor venue, and it's like set in like this gorgeous hillside. It's honestly going to be so pretty. I can't wait. But my other sister and I are like matrons of honor, so we've been doing a lot of wedding planning with her. But my sister is finishing up PA school this year as well, so her schedule is just crazy. So it will be really nice for her once she's done with school and she gets married, and then she can finally have some downtime. But I can't wait. I can't wait for it all to come together. So let me do this eye and then I'll come back because I feel like I'm taking forever because I'm talking so much. By the way, I'm using these new Profusion brushes. These are really good. They did send them to me in the mail as PR. They came out with a bunch of eye brushes, some face brushes. They just sent me the eye brushes, but they work so well. I'm honestly always so blown away by Profusion. I think their products are amazing and they're super affordable. So for the lid, I'm going to take the shade Bare Minimum because I want like a really intense pink look. And then I might take a little bit of Earth Shine. We'll see. Let's start with Bare Minimum. So I'm just going to take my ring finger and press this onto my lid. I seriously love this palette so much. I love using it. It honestly makes me happy. Like, to be honest with you guys, I wasn't in a great mood when I sat down to film this video because I'm just tired. I have not been getting enough sleep. The beginning of the year is always, like, you're always so motivated to stick to your goals. And I was eating well. I was drinking a ton of water. I was exercising like every day, going to sleep early. But naturally, I mean, life just gets busy. I feel like January is kind of like a slow time of the year. I mean, obviously depends on what you do, what your life is like, but because the holidays are so crazy, for some reason, January just feels very calm. I try not to do anything too crazy in January. So I feel like, you know, life is just picking back up, like there are just things to do. And I just feel like my schedule has been a little bit busy lately. So because of that, I mean, naturally, it's like the things that matter the most start to fall off. Like I might skip my spin class or I might go to bed at like 2 a.m. and I can't do that. I feel like I used to be able to do that in like my early 20s. I can't do that anymore because then it just affects me all day. Like I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I think I got 5 hours, which isn't horrible, but like today I'm slow, I'm forgetful, I'm just a mess. I'm trying to decide if I should leave it here because I love the all pink look, but I want to use the shade Earth Shine. It's such a gorgeous duochrome and it will kind of transform the entire look, but I might as well use it to show you guys what it looks like. So Earth Shine, oh my gosh, I love it so much. It just adds the most beautiful like purpley sheen. It looks like a wet shadow on the eyes. It's definitely a powder shadow, but it really just transforms the look. So if you layer this on top of like a deep purple, it's even more intense and vibrant, but it just kind of like adds like a gorgeous sheen. I'm going to line my eyes with the ColourPop BFF liquid liner. I have a really hard time doing this on camera because I have to get super close to the mirror. So I'm actually going to hold up this little compact mirror and we'll see if this works. But I do want to show you guys how this liner actually applies because again, this is a product in my bundle. But I just included the black one in my bundle because I feel like black liquid liner is something that a lot of people reach for. And this one is really nice. I used to think that you got better control with brush tip liners because they glide on so easily. But I think that you actually get better control with felt tip liners because it doesn't come out as quickly, like the actual liner. So you can do a really light, subtle line. You can do something a little bit more dramatic. I'm going to do winged liner and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get really close to the camera or the mirror. Okay, I got the winged liner in place. I think everything is looking good, except for the fact that I'm looking pretty oily. I haven't even been filming for that long, but I just think like I'm looking so oily right here. And it definitely has to be due to the primer because I've worn the foundation and the powder with my other primers, and this has not happened this quickly. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more of the powder. But that is not good because I'm just sitting in my room. I'm not like up moving around doing anything that should make my skin look pretty oily. I also noticed that like my wrinkles are pretty enhanced, which again, that did not happen when I wore this foundation with like my Catrice primer, my e.l.f. primers. So I don't think that this primer is going to be my ideal primer. Okay, so let me finish the eyes. I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Fan Fiction, maybe a little bit of Sleeper. I don't want the lower lash line to be too intense, but I do want it to kind of match the lid. And I'm just going to blend that on the lower lash line. You know what? I'm just going to go for more of a dramatic lower lash line. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Alkaline. And I'm just going to apply this to my waterline and then kind of smudge it on my lower lash line as well. So my mom and my sister and I get together every week to watch The Bachelor. It is our guilty pleasure. And my other sister will not watch it. She like refuses. We tried to get her to come and she's like, I don't like how they call how all the contestants call The Bachelor their boyfriend, which it is a little bit weird. But you know, everyone has that one show that's like their guilty pleasure, and that is mine, but it's so much more fun to watch it with people. Unfortunately, we were all busy this week, so we didn't get the chance to watch it together. And right before I sat down to film this video, like while I was doing my hair, I was watching it. And this season is seriously so weird. I feel like I don't admit to a lot of people that I watch The Bachelor, so you guys should consider yourself my close friends. I guess that's why it's a guilty pleasure. It's just, I know there are so many other things that I could be doing with my time, but that is like the one show I keep up with. That show and This Is Us. My husband and I watch that every week. It makes me cry literally every week. I'm just going to take the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara and use this on my lower lashes. I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to fill in my brows using the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I'm just going to use the pencil side and then I will be right back. So I just filled my brows in with the pencil side. I'm going to go in and touch them up with the ink stain side in just a second, but I am going to use the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. I've been using this for years and years. I've raved about it so much. Typically I wear the shade dark brown because they do have a clear. They also have tinted brow gels, but when I first tried this, I only used clear and I used it over and over. And because I wanted to include this in my bundle, I decided to go with clear. That way it would work for everyone. The tinted brow gels are nice if you have sparse brows because they do add a hint of color, so it gives them more of a just dark appearance, but the clear brow gel works just as great. So I love this formula because it's so good. It's like this waxy texture. So it really just helps to comb your brows up and give them more of like a textured appearance. As you guys can see in this video, I don't have very many brow hairs, so I really feel like this helps to give them more of a thick, voluminous feel. So if I'm using a tinted brow gel, I'll actually go in with the brow gel before I even fill them in with the pencil because I feel like then I have to use less product. But if it's a clear one, I'll just kind of fill them in and then comb them upwards and then go back in and touch them up with the ink stain side of the brow blade. I'm going to let the brow gel dry completely and then I'll go in with the ink stain side and show you guys how I touch them up to get them to look a little bit more natural. So to save some time, I just applied the Take Home the Bronze by theBalm. This one is in the shade Oliver, which is my go-to bronzer. And then I applied a little bit of Buxom's blush in the shade Dolly, which again is just one of my go-tos. I think it looks so pretty and natural on the skin. So I need to apply highlight, a lip color. I don't know, my skin is not looking very good. I am kind of going through a bad skin phase like the past week or two. My skin has been looking a little bit congested and not that great, but I don't think that Bite Beauty Primer did anything to help me. So anyways, now that my brow gel has dried, I'm just going to take the ink stain side of the Urban Decay Brow Blade and just kind of fill in any sparse areas. And I really think that this just makes such a difference. If you have sparse brows like I do, or you just have like a few spots on your brow that just, no matter what you do, it just doesn't seem to look very hair-like, I do think that this product will make a big difference. So for highlight, I'm going to be using the Soul Body Shimmering Body Powder in the shade Soft Pink. I just did a video on the best and worst new ColourPop products, and I really like these highlighters. I just think the color is so pretty. Now I am struggling with a little bit of texture because like I told you guys, my skin is not looking the best. I feel like it's kind of on the mend, but this will enhance texture because any highlighter will enhance texture. But that's okay because I do love the color. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and apply it in the inner corner as well, just to bring some focus to the inner corner. I'm going to take the ColourPop lip liner in the shade Oh Snap, which is a really pretty nude pink, and I'm just going to use that to line my lips and then fill them in. I'm going to be using my ColourPop Just a Tint lip crayon, which again I did include in my bundle. I love these lip crayons so much. They just give your lips like a hint of color. Some of them are a little bit more intense than others, and you can build them up to look more intense, but overall I like them because they are very natural. They're a little bit more low maintenance. They leave you with like a really pretty glossy finish, so you don't even have to use a lip liner. You could totally apply these on their own. They're not the type of lip product that's going to last all day long. They're just very comfortable. And I think they're a good alternative to lip gloss if you don't want something so shiny. And sometimes in the winter, if I'm going outside, I don't want to deal with lip gloss because the wind will whip my hair right into my lip gloss, and I just don't like to deal with that. So these are very low maintenance. They're perfect for everyday wear. They're very hydrating. And again, they give you a hint of color. So this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun chatting with you guys. The only really new product that I tested out was the primer, and I just don't love how it's making my skin look. It could be due to the fact that I'm not having like my best skin day. My skin has been struggling for a little while. I've been testing out a lot of products, some new skincare, some new makeup, so I think I just need to go back to my regular skincare routine for a little while until it gets back to normal. But I don't think that this primer was really doing anything for me. I do like the foundation. I need to purchase it in my ideal shade, and the powder's great as well, but I think that's it. If you guys are interested in checking out my ColourPop bundle, it will be available until February 18th, so I will link it below. Thank you guys so much for all of your kind words and support. I have loved seeing your pictures on Instagram. I feel like I'm spamming my Instagram followers with pictures in my story, but every time someone posts it, I'm just so excited and so thankful. So thank you guys so much. But I wanted to make sure I actually did a video using the products, so it was fun to be able to use them and chat a little bit more about why I chose them. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, whether you're doing anything to celebrate Valentine's Day or not, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.